Hello there everybody and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we play games and talk about nature. Now we are back in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and we're going to start by looking for some Cloaked Panthers, so let's jump right into it. Now there is a pack of them right up ahead, including an adult, which is right over there. Now what I want to do is I want to have a look at something specific about them, because I have been wondering. In the previous episode, we looked at their claws. Now, first of all, they've got those sickle claws, of course, to grip onto prey and pin them down. But they're also what appear to be knuckle walkers. We can see that both their front feet and their hind feet, the middle digits, are actually folded back. And it's quite possible that they are doing this in order to protect those long claws right over there. But I want to know, when they jump out at us, do they actually then open up those claws to actually grab onto us? So let's go find our little pack of Cloaked Panthers. Should be right up here. I can hear them. They've got this haunting screech that they make. There they are, right over there. They are most likely going to attack us on sight. Such beautiful, beautiful creatures. Now, come on, little guys. Now, of course, most animals will tend to stay away from humans, or Navi in this case. But we are moving right towards them. Hello. I actually want to check as they leap out at us. Okay, there we go. Finally managed to freeze it right as we are attacked. And will you look at that? All the digits are splayed open. So as these guys are launching out at us, in this case, unfortunately, launching right next to us, all the digits open up. So the reason they are knuckle walkers is to keep their claws sharp, because unlike cats on Earth, they can't retract their claws in order to keep them sharp. Instead, they need to rely on knuckle walking to actually keep these claws sharp. I find that very, very interesting. I've been wondering about this for 2 weeks now, finally having a chance to test it out. Of course, as with all the animals on Pandora, they've got these spiracles, these little holes along their neck here, and that is, of course, to breathe in. They've got lungs like mammals on Earth would also have, and birds would also have, but they've got these spiracles, as it is called, these openings, which we see in insects on Earth. We don't see those in mammals. We, of course, just breathe in through our mouths. Instead, it seems that they have got these little tubes that open up into the lungs. Not sure why they've got many instead of just one big one. Maybe just to spread out the vulnerable spot, to actually have smaller openings so that they don't have this massive weak spot in their bodies. Maybe it is also just more effective than having one big breathing hole. And then, of course, as mentioned previously, the pupils of an animal also telling you quite a lot about the animals. In this case, they do have two sets of eyes again. We've got the big eyes, and we also have teeny tiny eyes right in the front there, which when you look from the front here, you can see that they have got forward facing eyes, both the large eyes and also the smaller eyes, although the smaller eyes are pointed a little bit more to the sides. The large eyes facing forward will give the Cloaked Panthers very good depth perception. The eyes are not on the side of their head as you have with grazing animals to actually look around them and detect predators. Instead, the eyes are in front so that they can focus on their prey. And with the pupils that are vertically orientated, they will have this middle section that they are most focusing on really in focus and high definition. So yeah, very, very awesome creature. We also can see the mantle, of course, now, where the Cloaked Panther gets its name from, the cloak that it has along the side here. When they open up, when they jump, there is the skin that folds open between the front limbs and the tail there. The tail, of course, and the fin on the back acting as rudders, but this little mantle, this little skin fold, being a mechanism in order to glide towards their prey. Usually unsuspecting prey. In this case, we were suspecting. We knew they were going to come at us because, well, we moved towards them. Generally, predators tend to stay away from humans, but in this case, we were antagonizing them. So, of course, they were going to come for us. But on that, we can now run away and carry on with the quests. I don't want to take out these guys unnecessarily, so we are just going to fly off. Bye, guys. Thanks for showing us what you look like. Now we've got about 4.2 kilometers to fly to the Zakru's Promise, which is where we're going to continue with the main quest line. So I'll see you there. Alright, and we have arrived. Let's see what we are doing.
They are no match for us in the open. Our numbers are greater, and our blood burns where Awa's cries.
We draw the cowards out. possible? Harding's people hacked off his tusks.
Looking into that great eye. A cold, dark pool. All I could do was drown in it.
We can't just charge in. Harding won't give up, I know her.
Then go if you're already defeated. Perhaps the Aranahe have some weaving to be done.
This is for the Na'vi to finish.
Radio us once you are inside, and we will draw their warriors out to fight us. With their backs turned, you can tear down their camp and send Harding running. This will suit their cramped rooms better. Make it sing in your hands.
Aha! Of course, now we're getting our shortbow here. Marvelous. That will be very, very useful. Of course, before we can take on the RDA, we're going to have to make a better shortbow. We've got the recipe now, after all, and we need some bast fiber and some resin for that. Now, we are just checking to see whether this is... There we go, this is indeed exquisite quality. So, let's just quickly jump off and into the water here to harvest it. I love the fact that this is basically like a little micro-habitat for the shaded waterweed. Yes, they can grow in the open, they can grow... Doesn't have to be shaded, it can be a little shallow pool that they are growing in, but this is also a shallow pool, and this may actually be a more protected environment for them than a normal pool that they would be growing in. I'm just trying to wrangle this thing. There we go. It's dry and pristine. Perfect. So somehow the shaded waterweed will have the seeds dispersing and potentially ending up in these little tranquility bulbs which are growing under the floating rocks over here. Now most likely those tranquility bulbs will be protecting the shaded waterweed against the wind and against predators, so it's a great place to grow, but there is one problem, and that is that a tranquility bulb can only accommodate one shaded waterweed, so it is survival of the fittest. I guess that's why the ones that we are actually harvesting are the good ones. They're the strong ones that survived, so the weaker ones most likely died along the way. And we have got a little RDA facility over here. You know what? We are going to take it out. We are on a mission to get revenge. And that means taking out all the RDA we can find. Alright, 2 exosuits and 5 soldiers. Let's take them down. And... presto! And there we go. A little bit of industrial sabotage. What's not to love? Especially with nature coming back. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, good practice for what is to come a little bit later. And now, off to go find some resin, which should be in some of these bloodleaf trees. Marvelous. First one we checked, and here is the resin. And of course, there are some Cloaked Panthers there by my Ikran. But my Ikran is just intimidating them enough to just move them away. Look at that. Opening up their wings to appear more fearsome, even though it's just perched on the ground. Really in a vulnerable spot. I mean, an Ikran is the master of the air, not master of the ground. But our one over there is just doing its best to appear intimidating. Look at it. Snarling, the Cloaked Panther doing the same. And then the Ikran, of course, opening its wings, increasing its body size, like a lot of animals will do in order to appear more fearsome. I, for one, whenever I want to appear more fearsome, I puff up my chest as well. And it sometimes works. In this case, it definitely worked, as the Cloaked Panthers are zooming past us. Good luck catching us now. We are masters of the sky. And now we can make a nice little short bow that will do 60 damage compared to the 44 that we could make. So it's going to be a nice little one to have. And now I believe we are ready to go take down that facility. However, before we go and do that, we also are back at the Resistance HQ in the Kinglar Forest. Believe it or not, we have come back. And I believe there are some quests that we just need to quickly finish off.
I need your help with something.
Okay, what do you want, Alex?
You've already seen all the pollution RDA is causing. How it affects the flora?
I have. That's just... sickening.
Indeed. And it's not just ill plants. Animals can't feed and live in polluted areas. Na'vi lose their foraging and hunting grounds. Everything on Pandora is connected, and damage done to one part affects the whole system. Resistance, too. It's critical we continue to learn which specimens of flora we can process to extract nutrients acceptable for humans.
So you can't study plants that aren't healthy?
Exactly. Right now, I have ongoing research on a plant called Flamingo Orchid, and I need clean samples of its fruit to keep the data fresh. I have coordinates to where they grow in abundance, but we don't have many hands at the field labs. Would you be so kind?
Okay, so Alex wants us to go and collect some flamingo orchids. Well, the fruits at least. The flamingo orchid fruits. So we're going to quickly go and do that. And then we also just have to quickly talk to Hajir. This is about those animals without kurus.
The animal you found, with no kuru? They're called ferals. RDA captured them, removed their kuru. It was unbelievably cruel.
Why would anyone do such an awful thing?
To control them. Didn't work, of course, just made them suffer. Made them impossible to tame. And I was a part of it. My greatest shame. Now they kill without reason. That's why I left the RDA. But I couldn't save them.
We have to put a stop to it. Give them a merciful death.
Yes. Do the right thing. In larger numbers, though. Wreck the ecosystem. Anka mentioned seeing some strange activity on one of her flights. Could be ferals. I will send you the coordinates. I am sorry it has come to this.
Okay, thanks Hajir. So Hajir was involved with creating the ferals, where the RDA captured a whole bunch of viper wolves and thanators, and then removed their kurus, basically to try and make them tameable, so that they lose their connection to Awa, and then just are more easily tamed. And yeah, that did not work at all, just made them extremely violent. So we are going to get rid of some of those. And then lastly, we are just going to quickly pop over to the area where we started our whole playthrough, and we're just going to go and see if we can find Danny, who is somewhere out in the forest here. And she should be right up here somewhere. Of course, the Ikran really not designed for flying through the densest of jungles. It can maneuver quite a bit. However, it's really too dense for it to move through with speed. Ikran are designed for slightly more open areas, not the dense forests. And here we go. Here's Danny. Hey, Danny. What are you doing out here?
You found me. So, how much did Jin tell you anyway?
He only mentioned a topic that he shouldn't have brought up.
Yeah. That. Timing couldn't be more off. Talking again about starting a family. With your return, Jin saw hope. But I saw the unspeakable evil they've done to you. And what they're gonna do to all of us.
So, is that why you're out here?
Could say that. I cover a lot of ground in a day. Finding vantage points, identifying potential kill boxes, trying to make us safe, if that's possible. Many of our people can't imagine how bad things will get. I can. Ask the trapped wildlife I came across. Couldn't free it without harming it.
Where'd you find them?
Northwest of HQ. I wish there was more I could do.
Leave it to me.
So Danny working on the perimeter, making sure that everything's alright, everything is safe. And she came across some wildlife that was trapped. And we're just going to quickly go do that. That which she could not do, we are quickly going to go do. Alright, here is a Sturm Beast, and there are some Navi over here just like, hello, we're just working on the riverbank. We've seen this poor animal, let's just ignore it. Okay, Sturm Beast. I gotcha. Okay.
Danny, the wildlife is safe now.
Good. I'm glad you bumped into me. Little chat reminds me. It's been a while since I talked to anyone about this. About anything on my mind, really.
Well, before we go talk to Danny, let's actually do the flamingo orchids. And they should be right in this area.
Alex, I'm in the area you've pointed out. Looking for flamingo orchid fruits.
Great! These plants are easy to notice. They're tall, colorful, their leaves look like wings. They shoot out seeds when they feel threatened. The latter might cause injuries.
Ah, there's one right over there. Ah, there's a superior quality one.
Whoa!
Okay. Let's just quickly get one, shall we?
Found one. Looks quite ripe and healthy.
Excellent.
That's brilliant.
Look for more, please. The more good quality samples, the better.
Oh. There was some kind of roar. We've talked about the Flamingo Orchids, of course, before, because there are these weird little plant animals, that are able to detect
Alex,
movements.
Something's wrong out here.
Huh.
What do you mean?
It feels like someone's watching me.
I don't like this. Think you better get out of there. I mean it.
And the objective is run. Because when we land, you can see our screen starts fogging up. We can't use
Focus.
our Navi sensors. We are being stalked. And somewhere in this area there is now a Thanator that is stalking us slowly but surely, getting closer to us, making it impossible for us to use our Navi sensors. And basically will one-shot us unless we are level 18 or higher, I believe. So, yeah, Alex is telling us to run.
Alex, seems like this survey area is also a Thanator then.
What? A Thanator? Are you injured?
I'm fine. Even got a RDA.
Of course, the RDA have to go and interrupt our little chat with Alex. So, we're going to use our new little Shortbow here to just get rid of them. Ha! You're no match for my Shortbow. Okay.
Let's continue. I'm fine. Even got a few samples for you. We'll tell you everything back at HQ.
So that area there that kind of looks like a jellyfish that ended up under a truck, that area is where the Thanator is staying, or there is one of the Thanators over there. There is another Thanator here by Spool Island, I believe, in the Kinglor Forest. So if you happen to come across something weird happening in this general area, yeah, that's also a Thanator. And then in the Clouded Forest, I believe, there are also two. The apex predators, at least that we know of, on Pandora. Now, I suspect that when the DLCs come out, there's going to be an even bigger predatory creature that's going to take us out more easily than a Thanator. So when the time comes, we are going to, of course, prepare and have the best armor and weapons around, ready for that. Hello, Danny.
You're back. For now, or?
Do I have a choice? I'm trying to keep us safe. Trying to keep my husband safe.
Maybe you should talk to him. Tell him what's on your mind. He seems so in love with you.
Jin's got so much love in him, it'd be selfish for me to hoard it all to myself. Only makes sense he'd want a family. Back on Earth, I grew up in a harsh place, shaped by people like Mercer. Always people like him. That look in my parents' eyes always stuck with me, a mix of warmth and fear. Of failing to protect the one thing that mattered the most. Hell, that animal you freed, it'll look after its own one day, and it'll know that pain.
I don't think it's thought that far. It's in its nature to produce offspring and protect its young. Like all parents, I guess.
Yeah, just dumb instinct and love. Jin can't imagine me failing. He loves me too much. And I don't know how to tell him I'm terrified. I should talk to him.
Good luck, Danny. I like Danny. Shame. Danny and Jin just trying to carry on with their lives here on Pandora. She's vanished, though. She's not talking to Jin. I think she ran into the forest again. I don't think she wants to talk to Jin about not starting a family. But that is a very, very interesting point. Now, animals and plants, their whole drive is to actually create offspring, to pass on their genetic material. Because in evolutionary terms, there's this drive to carry on your genetics. You are only considered successful if you have actually passed on your genetics to the next generation. So if you haven't, then you are not successful yet. And most things that plants and animals do are then in service of that goal. They're eating food, that is so they can stay alive, so that they can reproduce. They are fighting with other individuals, that's so that they have access to an area within which they can have their young. Or access to females or males, so that they can have their young. They are looking for shelter, that's so that they don't die when it gets too cold or too hot, and they can pass on their genetics. So all these things are part of the drive for reproduction. So if you're looking at ecology, what I often tell my students when they start the subject is that, well, ecology is the study of sex and death, because, well, that's generally what it is. It's reproduction and a lot of death. So in ecology, that is what we are looking at. We are looking at ways in which animals are trying to reproduce, and we are looking at ways in which animals are trying to kill each other. And sometimes that's at the same time. Just ask my friend, the praying mantis. I think that's actually where we're going to end today's session, everybody. I'm running out of time. I've got a survey to go and do. Next week, there's only going to be one episode, unfortunately. I am away on Thursday and Friday, so I won't be able to make 2 videos. However, there will be a video coming out on Wednesday. So half kind of between the Tuesday and Friday session. And then on Sunday, Nic and I will be streaming again. Unfortunately, we haven't managed to fix Avatar yet, so we are going to be streaming Ark Survival Evolved. Not Ark Survival Ascended, unfortunately. We are still going to be playing Ark Survival Evolved. So come and join us for a live stream Sunday, 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock South African time, where we are going to go and run around with some prehistoric creatures. Until then, everybody, stay safe. We'll see you all soon. Bye.